Are you tired of dealing with the discomfort and pain associated with UTIs? You're not alone. UTIs affect millions of people every single year. And while antibiotics tend to be the go-to treatment, they do come with their own set of problems. You see, antibiotics can disrupt your gut flora, which is your microbiome, and this can lead to some antibiotic resistance and some other unpleasant side effects. Antibiotics can even disrupt your mitochondrial function, which can cause some long-term cellular and metabolic dysfunction. So you may be asking yourself, which is probably why you're here, what can I do about this? Well, I'm Dr. Nelson, a licensed practicing naturopathic physician and clinical nutrition professor. In this video, we're going to discuss my favorite 5 UTI remedies that you probably haven't thought of or maybe even haven't heard of before, that are usually very safe and very effective alternatives to prescriptive antibiotics. So let's just get started. Unfortunately, because of the way that things are, I have to do the disclaimer. While I am a practicing doctor, I'm not your doctor. These videos are for educational purposes only. This first one that I'm going to start with isn't one of the tips, but none of the other natural treatments actually work well if you're not hydrated. Drinking plenty of water is one of the simplest and yet most effective natural remedies that you can do for a UTI. Water helps to keep your urinary tract flushed. So water will flush out bacteria out of the urinary tract. It'll help to dilute the urine, and it'll ultimately make it less painful for you to actually urinate. My typical recommendation is to drink about 1/2 of your body weight in fluid ounces of water every single day. This is going to help you stay hydrated, and it's going to prevent the growth of bacteria. Recently, I had a patient that was plagued with chronic UTIs. They were pretty much non-responsive to any medications from her primary care doctor, no change to, with any herbs that another herbalist had recommended. And after a detailed analysis of her microbiome via a stool test, we were able to determine that her probiotic flora was pretty much shot. There was nothing there. And this is most likely because of years of antibiotics. And throughout that whole course of period, no one ever considered replacing all the microbes that they were wiping out with those antibiotic treatment. And I want to be really crystal clear about this. Antimicrobial herbs can cause this problem too. So prolonged use of antimicrobial herbs can result in this issue. So after a heavy-duty microbiome reconstruction with probiotics and some dietary modifications, she noted drastic improvements in the severity and recurrence rate in her UTIs. You see, probiotics are the good bacteria that live on our skin, in our guts, and in our urinary tracts. They help to maintain a healthy balance between the bacteria, and they can even prevent the growth of other harmful bacteria that lead to the production of UTIs or urinary tract infections. For the best effects, you can use probiotic supplements, or you can even use probiotic-rich foods like yogurt, kefir, and sauerkraut. You want to make sure that any products that you use do contain live cultures, so live bacteria and active cultures. That's going to give you your maximum benefit. You also want to keep an eye out for specific strains of probiotics, including the Lactobacillus rhamnosus, fermentum, acidophilus, plantarum, and paracasei. You also want to look out for some of the Bifidobacterium species, the Bifidobacterium longus and longum. These strains have been shown to potentially decrease UTIs and work together with some of your other UTI therapies. So these little soldiers are going to stand guard, and they're going to protect your urinary tract by producing some compounds that are going to inhibit the growth of other urinary tract pathogens. They work really well. I had another patient once that thought she was doing all the right things by eating right, drinking tons of cranberry juice because everyone knows about that one. She heard from another provider that all you need to do is drink a little cranberry juice and the type of UTI she had would pretty much be resolved on its own. However, there was a small problem with this simple recommendation. You see, not being specific about the type of cranberry juice you're going to use can result in some problems. So if you're going to use a cranberry juice, you want to make sure that the cranberry juice is 100% cranberry juice, not a juice cocktail or a juice blend. This is because the 100% juices have a higher concentration of some of the proanthocyanidins as well as D-Mannose that actually help to get the job done. That's why they work. D-Mannose is a type of sugar that's found in cranberries as well as blueberries, and that can actually help to prevent UTIs. Instead of being metabolized by your body for the most part for energy like most of the other sugars that you can eat, once D-Mannose is absorbed, it's actually filtered out by the kidneys right away and it's excreted into your urine. This sugar has been found effective in preventing and treating UTIs, specifically caused by the E. coli bacteria. This is usually the most common form of bacteria that causes UTIs, so for the most part, you'll be okay if you're using this. If you have another type of bacterial infection, though, this one really won't work too well for you. So contrary to popular belief, it won't work well. It pretty much works by binding to the E. coli inside of the urinary tract, and it makes it easier for your body to flush it out, again, staying super hydrated. Diabetics, you want to be extra careful with the use of D-Mannose supplementation. It can result in an elevation in your blood sugar, so you want to be extra careful with that one. If you're enjoying my content so far, my prescription for you is to press that like button. Please don't forget to pop that subscribe and bell icon so you can keep getting your weekly dose of natural health advice. Uva-ursi is also known as barberry. This has been shown to be useful specifically in bladder infections. The plant contains, so the plant leaves itself, it contains a compound called arbutin. This arbutin has antibacterial properties that can be used to safely decrease infections, typically associated with E. coli bacteria and Staphylococcus aureus. Can be effective in some other microbes as well, but those are the top two seen in the studies. The arbutin in Uva-ursi is ultimately converted to another compound called hydroquinone inside of your body. Hydroquinone has a very antiseptic effect in the urinary tract, and it prevents the growth of bacteria as well as reducing inflammation. I like Uva-ursi a lot, and it's not just because every time I think of this herb, I think of the bombardier beetle. See, this beetle uses hydroquinone in its body, and it mixes it together with hydrogen peroxide, producing a boiling hot liquid that can stop attackers. Hydroquinone is a really interesting compound, capable of a lot of different, unique reactions, making it very versatile out in nature. In order for this herb to work properly in the human body, though, for UTIs, the compound must be in an acidic environment, which usually can be accomplished by taking something called buffered vitamin C. Some people usually take plain vitamin C, but you really need buffered vitamin C. Buffered vitamin C will decrease the pH of the urine, making it much more acidic, and this will actually make the hydroquinone far more effective at destroying and eliminating invaders before they take hold in your body. With Uva-ursi, don't take it at high doses, and you typically don't want to take it for longer than 3 to 4 weeks. One of my favorite plants to make tea out of is Hibiscus. Its beautiful red color and naturally sour flavor make an excellent addition to any daily regimen for health upkeep. We Jamaicans, we typically call this drink sorrel. I wouldn't consider sorrel a medicinal drink anymore, though, usually due to its alcohol content, but you see, if you ask somebody else, they'll definitely disagree. Typically, hibiscus in its pure form, used as a tea and as a natural, it's not one of the things that we typically think of as a natural remedy for UTIs. Still, some studies have shown that it actually may have some antifungal properties that could be used to treat UTIs that are caused by Candida. A lot of people don't think of Candida causing a lot of UTIs, but in several studies published in a few different microbiology journals over the years, researchers have found that hibiscus extracts have an antifungal activity against several different species of Candida, including some strains that do commonly cause UTIs and play a role in that. I've seen some cases with recurrent UTIs resistant to antibiotics and other herbal medicines that we use here in the office respond really well to daily hibiscus use to treat the underlying fungal involvement with the UTI. I'll post some of those studies down in the description below if any of you are interested in looking at it. They're very complex, so you can just take my word for it. So berberine is another one. It is a natural compound found in the roots of several plants, including golden seal, barberry, and Oregon grape. I call this pretty much a herbal drug. It's been found to have antibacterial properties against a lot of many common bacterias, many of which are common that they cause UTIs. The herb works by interfering with the bacteria's ability to adhere to the walls of your urinary tract, and it can also disrupt the bacteria's membrane integrity, so it makes the membrane weak and hard to function properly. In cases with UTIs resistant to prescription treatments, adding berberine to that treatment regimen has been shown to increase its success. I've used it several times with some of my patients in the office with combination treatments as well, working with their primary care providers, and have seen really good success rates with that berberine treatment. And this is partly because berberine tends to have a very broad spectrum activity against a lot of different microbes, and this is partly why I think it's seen so much success in clinical use. Another one, corn silk. Yep, you heard me correctly. Those silky strands that grow on those ears of corn that we've been throwing away for all these years. Corn silk has been used for a natural treatment remedy for UTIs in traditional medicine for ages. Water extract, also known as tea, made from corn silk have been shown to have diuretic properties in our bodies. This means that if you take them together, it'll help to increase your urine production as well as flow, and it'll help to flush out bacteria and other irritants that may be in the urinary tract causing some issues for you. I've seen a study recently published in the Journal of Intercultural Ethnopharmacology. Researchers in this study found that the corn silk extracts significantly reduced and decreased UTI symptoms after about 5 days starting treatment. And not only did it improve the symptom components, they also saw that a lot of laboratory findings associated with UTIs also improved drastically, and there were no side effects. I mean, you gotta love natural medicine, right? An important note about my favorite herbal remedies for UTIs is that while these remedies can be effective and stand all on their own, sometimes you need to combine them together to see the best results. You want to be sure that before you take anything, you're consulting with your healthcare provider and making sure that you're being very safe about this. By incorporating some of the safer remedies into your daily routine, like cranberry juice, probiotics, and staying hydrated, you can reduce your overall risk by even getting a UTI, and you can prevent the need for antibiotics down the road. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more health-related content. Thank you so much for watching. But wait, before you leave, I'd love for you to check out this next video right over here, where I'm going to be talking about some superfoods that can supercharge your health. So while you're dealing with all this, check that out. It's going to be super beneficial to your overall health and wellness. I look forward to seeing you guys at the next one. Bye.